These are the things that have to be changed for England going into the remainder of Euro 2024. However long we're in the tournament, there is some fundamental change needed because I think this England side are in a world of pain. In this video, we're going to break down Gareth Southgate's strange Calvin Phillips comments coming out after the game against Denmark. And of course, my 11 will be on the screen for what I think would be the perfect combination of players to get us over the line. It's not just about getting over the line against Slovenia. We should be beating them 10 times out of 10 with all due respect, with the quality on display. It's not just about that. It's about how we have a good performance. We're not looking for great. We're not looking for Pele, Maradona level performances. But as England fans, we're more than justified to demand slightly more than we got out of Denmark. Way more. Let's talk about the Calvin Phillips comments. I'm told by all my England fans who are mates of mine, they say, right, he's got no sporting acumen. We can all agree he's not Pep Guardiola, but there's one thing that he does. He brings cohesion amongst the group. He's a political ally of the FA. Gareth Southgate's ability to handle the media is second to none. I'm told all these things about Gareth Southgate, and he comes out after an incredibly frustrating draw, booed off against Iceland. This is an England side very, very low on confidence between the squad and the fans. And he comes out and to kind of navigate himself through what is a bit of a cauldron of questions from journalists who clearly understand how bad England were against Denmark. He says, well, we haven't had a deep line midfielder for 7-8 years. We've been trying to look for him. We haven't been able to replace Calvin Phillips. It is an absolute catastrophe and a PR media nightmare that he's never experienced before. It's the worst thing he's ever said as England manager. And the reality is, I understand exactly what he's trying to say. And I've been saying it on this channel for probably for years. And I've been saying it on the channel for months now because of Adam Wharton. He has been needing a defensive midfielder that can tick the ball side to side. Look at someone like Khedira for Germany, Torsten Frings for Germany. Just a couple of examples that spring off the top of my head. Not a Busquets. We're not even asking for Busquets, but we're looking for that kind of side to side, simplistic Michael Carrick figure. And Calvin Phillips was that in 2021. He was England Player of the Year. The way he progressed the ball through midfield in big games for England, arguably, and people have very, very short memories in football, he was just as good as Declan Rice in that campaign, and if not, for me, better. So him and Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice had a great foundation. It was England's first tournament with a back four. In the World Cup before, we had a back five. So ultimately, the four were completely comfortable because of Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice. And now he's swapped out Calvin Phillips. We can talk about Calvin Phillips' limitations as a midfielder for a right back. That is absolutely shambolic. I'd still rather have Calvin Phillips in there than Trent. That says it all. And the reason it's a political nightmare and a PR nightmare to come out and say that is this guy's not been good for 2 years. I wanted him to work at City. I love those defensive midfielders like Calvin Phillips who showed so much energy, so much vibrancy, quality range of passing at Leeds United. Do you know what I mean? Leeds have been relegated for 2 years now. He's been at City for 2 years. One of the years he had a loan at West Ham. So the response, even though tactically it makes a little bit of sense, it does, that he kind of bemoans the fact that Calvin Phillips isn't in the squad. He talks about Jordan Henderson. What are the players? If the players are sat there watching his press conference with ITV or whoever it was, they must be absolutely livid because Kobbie Mainoo, yeah, he's not quite a Calvin Phillips player technically speaking. He's a little bit more explosive and dynamic than Calvin Phillips, but he must be sat there thinking, I've just won the FA Cup with the biggest club in the world. Adam Wharton's just, I'm on the plane. I'm not getting a single minute. Even Cole Palmer, who isn't a midfielder in the same way Calvin Phillips is, must be sat there thinking, He's talking about players that can control a football game, and we can't do it. I can do that. He's been doing it for Chelsea for a year now. So it is a staggeringly tone-deaf thing to say. It is, I think, indicative of a manager that's completely run out of ideas, completely devoid of belief in his own managerial acumen. And I think the issue for many England fans now is that is seeping onto the pitch. In 2018, it was a free hit. Complete free hit. 5 at the back. Ashley Young for a bit of experience. Dele Alli for a little bit of freshness with Jesse Lingard. So it was this mixture of kind of experience. Ashley Young knew all about the failings of the golden generation. Well, certainly in 2012 Euros. So you had this kind of cautious approach, and we go far. Then we have home advantage in 2021. He plays 4-2-3-1, 2 defensive midfielders. We look sturdy. Luke Shaw's bombing on. It's fantastic. Then the next World Cup, I think he gets completely found out because this is his new generation. This isn't him fixing Roy Hodgson's mistakes in 2018. This is his identity, and he gets found out against France. The pinnacle of his career was at Wembley, being 1-0 up, 3 minutes in, Luke Shaw. And since then, he's been getting progressively worse as a manager. This is now the second version of his generation of England players, the second side. He's got a right back in midfield. He's got no alternative at left back. He's got Harry Kane looking as worse as he's ever done. This is all because, off the back of scoring 40 goals in Germany, it's all because of the manager. Here are the changes that I would want to see on display against Slovenia. I want to see Joe Gomez at left back, and that's not to say that Trippier's not been good defensively. I think he's been actually pretty decent. I thought he was decent against Denmark as well. There's nothing to complain about with Trippier, but you're not getting the advantage. Modern football is all about those extra men bombing on from midfield. We talk about Trent tucking into midfield for Liverpool. It's like, what about the overlapping fullbacks? We saw it on the other side with Kyle Walker. He was able to bomb on once, and he created so much danger, and we're not seeing that. For me, Joe Gomez is the only player, except for Luke Shaw. I'd start Luke Shaw in a heartbeat if he's fit. He isn't fit, and I wouldn't risk him against Slovenia if we're essentially qualified. He has to be fit for the round of 16. He really does. And then I think we'll be a completely different side. Joe Gomez, left footer. Let's try a left footer there. Let's get some sort of fluidity with a left footer playing in that situation. I think that'd be very, very interesting for sure. Keep the back three. Mark Gahey was absolutely superb. John Stones was absolutely superb. And Kyle Walker was dangerous. And the issue for the England side is that it's not just the left-hand side. We're talking about Phil Foden. We're talking about Luke Shaw's injury and Trippier. The left-hand side isn't just the problem. It's all through the pitch. It's on the right-hand side as well. Because of Trent's inability to cover ground as a midfielder very well, he doesn't press space very well. He doesn't know when to press, doesn't know when to go, doesn't know when to come short for the ball. He has no understanding of the rhythm of midfield. It means that Kyle Walker is cautious, more cautious than I've ever seen him really in the last few years for England of when to bomb on. The one time he gets that ball in the overlap and he beats a man and he whips it in and Harry Kane scores. We saw it 0 times after that. That is a managerial failure of the highest order. If you're not able to get even Kyle Walker overlapping, who wants to do it, he does it in his sleep, overlapping runs in his sleep, then there's something perennially wrong with this England side on the right as well. Bukayo Saka's coming short. He doesn't know when to get the ball from Trent. He doesn't know if he should be going long. His runs were fantastic, and there's a great heat map on Twitter of when we scored, the whole England 10 dropped except for one. And that was Bukayo Saka. So his ability to run in behind has been second to none. And the only reason we've got 4 points, arguably, is because of Bukayo Saka and Kyle Walker. These are the facts. They really are. The midfield, obviously, Declan Rice had a really poor game against Denmark. But I don't really blame him. And there are people out there saying, oh, you can only blame Harry Kane. You can only blame Bellingham. And you can only blame Declan Rice and John Stones. Because all these players are playing in their natural positions. But no, Declan Rice's natural position is being hindered because he used to play with Jorginho. He used to play with Mark Noble, okay, not a world-class player, but a midfielder, Partey, and he looks absolutely superb in the run-in for the Premier League title race for Arsenal. And now he's playing with a right-back. He has no understanding of any rhythm with him, and his rhythm for England, which has been undisputed for 6 years now since he's come to England from Ireland, and he's been absolutely superb. It's crazy. We've hindered 5 or 6 players, and one of them is Declan Rice. Get Trent out the side. If you want to play him right back, play him right back. If we get battered against Slovenia, we get battered against Slovenia. I'm happy to see it as an England fan, but not. We're living in a nightmare where Trent is in midfield. We're living in a nightmare. Get Adam Wharton in there, please. Get Adam Wharton in there. Slovenia will have a low block. They'll be looking to fire into Sesko, hit us on the counter attack, and you can 100% say that Adam Wharton on the ball is better than Trent in midfield. It's like stupidity. I'm actually losing brain cells having to say this on a video. It's existentially bad. It really is. Rice and Wharton is a great little platform. Michael Carrick, Ballack almost. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like got the explosive power of Declan Rice that we've not seen this tournament. And then Adam Wharton, Michael Carrick. Keep Jude Bellingham in the 10. Suggest to him that he needs to drop deep every now and then and be a little bit more conservative and link up play. So many times he got the ball in the half turn. He's trying to beat 2 men. It's like, mate, you've done the Adidas advert. We get that you're the next Zidane or whoever you think you are. You have to serve the team. I really don't think he's been serving the team. The goal's fantastic, but in the game against Denmark, he's trying to beat men. He's trying to add to his own LinkedIn resume. I mean, it's just ridiculous. The amount of times he could have played Phil Foden in. I'm not going to be defensive of Phil Foden. I think Phil Foden has to come out of the side. There are a couple of moments where he was absolutely superb, but we need pace. We need pace on the outside. How have we got the best number 10 in the world, arguably, not even getting balls onto his natural foot? He has to come onto his right foot to receive any kind of action from the midfield. It's embarrassing. Get Wharton in, get Anthony Gordon in, get him on the overlap, get them bombing around and have a look from that position. But apart from that, I mean, it's absolutely atrocious how bad we were against Denmark. Fundamental changes needed. I'd take 3 or 4 changes. I really would. I'll take 5. I think there's an argument for so many players to get taken out of this side. It's embarrassing at points. But those are the 2 key ones that have to be made, in my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Obviously, make sure you check out the channel for the remainder of England's campaign throughout the Euros.